What's the hubbub? Cosmic Book News and other outlets are pushing a narrative that James Gunn is hinting he is on his way out.
Bombshell, just like I first told you, now in a new interview with the Boba Talks YouTube channel, James Gunn has just confirmed what I said, where he questions his future with the DCEU. Have a listen.
Absolutely. So one thing I've been really curious about is you've referenced things like Peacemaker Season 2 and Lanterns setting up different threads and arcs. How far do these arcs go? Like, do they culminate in Man of Tomorrow, or can we expect them to go further than that?
Yes, they definitely go significantly further than Man of Tomorrow.
Okay.
So now, you know, whether or not that'll be me that's able to fulfill that promise depends on a lot of things in life. But yeah.
No, this is just him stating after he's wrapping up hands on Superman Saga work. He may be less involved to the writing and directing aspect. He is carving out the first launch movies, but other creatives will need to step in as well. This will mean other writers and directors brought on board. It's not the end of Gunn. It's the evolution of the DCU broadening. You're still seeing Snyder Bros convinced it's already official that the DCEU will be back on Netflix. That doesn't look so concrete to me. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos says it has little interest, if at all, in bidding for Warner Brothers Discovery. Reiteration that organic growth at Netflix was preferred over big acquisitions. I saw an old article, by the way, regarding the chairman, Dan Lin, of Netflix Films Division. During an interview with the Ankler Hot Seat podcast, Lin discussed a variety of topics connected to DC, from what an important mentor, Superman the movie director Richard Donner, was, to the disappointment of Justice League Mortal not getting off the ground. When wrapping up their chat with Lin, the hosts joked that those crazy SnyderVerse fans would have come after him, which he sarcastically referred to as bots or Autobots with a laugh. So especially after Rebel Moon's disastrous review failure, I wouldn't be so sure Netflix actually wants to do anything here. It seems the Restore SnyderVerse guys are hell-bent on pretending those who support DCU would be as cult-like as Snyder Bros are.
But here you have it. Superman has failed on HBO Max.
What? Superman moved up the chart from number 4 to number 2 this week, representing the only HBO Max offering on the movie's top 10 list.
It was all bullshit.
Zoom in. Zoom out. You got nothing to say to me. Nothing to say. I have nothing to say.
This could lead to Restore the Snyderverse actually happening. Now, this is pretty freaking awesome, and I'm so glad to see Matt Reeves come out and talk about this, and I have a feeling this is really the real reason why this has been delayed. Matt Reeves says he prevented the Batman saga from being set in James Gunn's DCU to spite you specifically. I think that is hilarious. There were a lot of people that wanted this to happen, and he's held firm on this since the beginning, that he wants his Batman universe to be something completely separate from anything they're doing in the DCU. All right, guys, so Cosmic Book News has been on a roll here, and what I'm about to talk about here is true. Superman did bomb in its streaming numbers. Like, they tried to make it seem like it was this amazing thing because it was number 1 on the app, and I told you if it was the only movie on there, of course it's going to be number 1. But it says, wow, The Rock's Black Adam crushes James Gunn Superman on HBO Max.
Well, yes, that proves more people waited for Black Adam on streaming and actually went to Superman instead. Okay, bud, Aaron Fischer, you saying something is happening does not make it so. How many times does Zack posting a picture make it official news for you? Of course, you're using a parody account to report your anti-Gunn and Restore Snyder propaganda here. Anyway, what else should we expect? In an exchange with Aaron Fischer, who runs a Snyder-centric channel, he has continued to release stories about Gunn being fired and Snyder officially back. I mentioned SnyderVerse is still dead. Gunn is still not fired, and the DCU has more movies on the way. What is the news? To this, he replied, "You're nervous." And I really think with that, he misses what DC fans are about and the contrast to Snyder advocates who care most about Zack being back. I replied again, here's the difference as a DC fan, not Snyder-only fan. If Gunn moved on, I know Snyder isn't brought back. If they rebooted yet again with another verse, I'd support and be down with it. The SnyderVerse-only fandom now feels belonging to a movement and would still cry. I'm not sure the Snyder Bros can wrap their heads around it, but some of us are supporting whomever is in charge of DC and bringing those characters to life. The divide is strong, but there's really only one cult side, and it rhymes with Rider. The Snyder Riders are pseudo-online anarchists. I thought Tyrone Magnus sparked an interesting thought.
It's like watching a mystery movie, ain't it? It's like watching a thriller. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Is Gunn going to stay? Will Snyder be greenlit to do something again? What's going to happen? Will they both be there at the same time? Will we, like I've been asking for years, have both universes running parallel so you can please everybody instead of, well, you can't ever please everybody, but you know what I mean, nerds and geeks. So, well, actually, it could never, look, you know what I mean, okay? So if you could get, 98% of the fans on board because you've got something for everybody, hey, that's, and I'll be happy.
I think it's intriguing to consider Gunn and Snyder collaborating again. Imagine them making multiverse movies where universes can cross over to catch fans of both sides. I'm curious if this could work, or if it would just make the division that much more obvious. Let's explore this further. When James Gunn took the reins of DC Studios, fans knew change was coming. The new co-CEO promised a unified vision, one that would reshape the chaotic legacy left by previous creative regimes. But what if, instead of leaving the past behind, DC embraced it? What if Gunn and former DC visionary Zack Snyder joined forces to build something that bridges the divide, a cinematic multiverse event that honors the old while launching the new? The answer could lie in a movie that does what the comics have done for decades, a crisis, a tale of two universes. Imagine a film titled DC Infinite Crisis, a story where Snyder's brooding, mythic world collides with Gunn's vibrant, character-driven universe. It's the kind of concept that writes itself. Two creative titans, two distinct visions, one shared destiny. In Snyder's corner, the world is dark and crumbling. Henry Cavill's Superman and Ben Affleck's Batman fight a losing war against Darkseid. In Gunn's fledgling DCU, a younger Superman, David Corenswet, and a new generation of heroes begin to feel tremors in reality. When the Anti-Monitor, or perhaps Brainiac, threatens to erase existence itself, both worlds begin to merge, and so do their heroes. The result? Snyder's sense of grandeur meets Gunn's irreverent heart, balancing gods and misfits. One of the great divides between the two directors has always been tone. Snyder, his heroes are modern gods wrestling with destiny and sacrifice. Gunn, meanwhile, builds families and misfits who find strength in imperfection. A joint project could play to both strengths. Snyder could handle the apocalyptic scale and moral weight of the story. Gunn could bring the emotional warmth and character chemistry that makes audiences care. The contrast would become the point. Two worlds learning to coexist, both literally and thematically. Imagine Cavill's stoic Superman facing Corenswet's idealistic, younger version. Imagine Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie's bridge between eras, breaking the fourth wall about how confusing all this is. Imagine The Flash, Ezra Miller, or a recast as the audience's guide running through the wreckage of realities, the battle for the multiverse. The climactic act writes itself, both Justice Leagues, Snyder's, and Gunn's standing side by side in an operatic, reality-shattering showdown. Snyder's camera captures the grandeur and devastation. Gunn's lens finds the human moments amid the chaos. One Superman might fall to save the other. One Batman might sacrifice himself to reset the worlds. The film ends not with a reboot, but a rebirth. Snyder's universe fades into legend, while Gunn's takes its first confident steps into the future. It would be less about replacing the old and more about honoring it, a passing of the torch rather than a clean slate. The fandom. Is it possible to unite? I'm not sure. For years, DC fandom has been divided. The SnyderVerse loyalists, who are cultists on one side, the new DCU hopefuls on the other. A collaboration between Gunn and Snyder could be the cinematic olive branch that brings everyone back under one banner. Snyder fans would get closure, their heroes remembered as legends, not abandoned storylines. Gunn's vision would gain legitimacy through continuity and respect for what came before. Everyone wins. It's not just fan service. It's good storytelling. A new dawn for DC, essentially. A post-credits tease could seal the deal. A glimpse of Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult, discovering fragments of the old multiverse, hinting that the door between realities isn't entirely closed. It's the kind of tease that keeps possibilities alive, both creatively and commercially. In the end, a Gunn-Snyder collaboration wouldn't just be a movie. It would be a statement that DC doesn't need to erase its past to build its future. It can do what its best heroes always do: unite under a shared purpose, even when worlds collide. That's today's hubbub. No SnyderVerse, no problem, but hey, if Gunn wants to bring Zack on board under him, that would be some Snyder fandom squirming to watch. You see, part of their issue in a cult movement is they tend to only want it even to own detriment. Remember how they boycott Cavill for a while for doing a cameo and upset he was willing to move on as Superman without Snyder? They even wanted Black Adam to flop. That's the delusion we would be dealing with in trying to pull off something this grand. Still, it could be a worthy project, capturing a lot of interest in the superhero genre, which is needed. We shall see what's ahead, though. Until next time, take care of yourselves and others.